Hey boys, it's Rory from A&S Gear. We've got a brand new pack upstairs today. This is the HK0G harness, but this is the 2.0. So this is the newest version of the 0G up here. So there are some differences between the old 0G and the new 0G. We'll talk about that. Basically, it's kind of a slight design change as far as the strapping goes. And then the lumbar support or the back support is just a different shape, but it's still there. And then overall, the pack has been narrowed down a little bit just to kind of make it a little bit more streamlined. But as far as the pod holders go, the tension system is the same. So you're still able to adjust how well it grips on the pod. And as time goes on, if those become loose or you change pod size, you'll be able to adjust that and fit the new pod inside there. I got a bunch of pods down there. We'll try to fit them in there and see how it goes. We'll talk about the pack. So the pack is available in 3 different sizes, a 3+, 4+, and 5+, with the 5+ fitting, I think 13 pods total if you really wanted to jam them all in there. And then the 3+ doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's like 9, 11, and 13 right there. Total pods. Now, that's up to you on how you want to carry your pods. But a 3-pack, a 4-pack, and a 5-pack. And then these are the 3 colors that are available, a blue, a gray, and a red. So I've already got the red one unpackaged, I guess you want to call it, because the packaging they have on here, it is kind of woven through here just to make it all together in one kind of package on the package. So I'm just going to move those over, and then we can look at the pack here. So the pack from the outside has all this kind of things you would see with a normal pack. Strange thing it doesn't have, obviously, is any kind of strap at the bottom. So your pod's going to slide in here, but there's no loop or closure system on this to keep that pod from sliding out. That's all done from the inside here, and we'll see that in a minute. This can be controlled, how tight it grabs onto the pod. So if you've got a pod that you're putting in here, like this, that's sitting in there like that. Now, this is not going to fall out of there. It's not coming out, but it might be a little hard to get out while you're playing. If you're trying to reach around behind you and get that pod out and you're struggling to get the pod out, you might get shot because you're spending too much time trying to get the pod out. So we can adjust that. We can make it a little looser to get the pod out. But if you go too far, obviously you put that in there and the pod just whoop, slides right out when you start running. So you got to find that happy medium between grip and ease of getting it out of there. All right, so that's what we got on the outside. We do have an elastic end right here. You saw that when I put the pod through. Let me put that in there one more time. That does stretch out. You can see that kind of pushing out right there. And then depending on how loosey-goosey you've got this thing, this can help get that pod out of the pack when you start to pull on it. Now, you don't want this thing to start ejecting the pod out before you're starting to pull on it. So again, it does take some setup, and that all depends on the type of pod you're using, whether it be a standard pod, maybe you've got a larger HK flip top pod, maybe you've got a lock lid pod, whatever it happens to be, you will need to kind of adjust it to figure out what you want to do. Then we've got our outside pods. These are just little loops. You can slide extra pods inside. And that's kind of what you got going on the outside of the pack. If we flip it over, these straps got much narrower compared to the older version of the 0G. So again, a streamlined, more compact version of the pack. And then you can open this up. And the unique thing about these right here is that the strap, it passes through itself to make a more secure system for when you're running around and moving. If we look right here, I'm just going to lift up this little piece. We'll talk about this little lumbar support here in a second. But here is our strap system that's attached to the pack right here. And as it goes out, it goes through a hole right here, which is this strap right here. You can see it passes through here. Normally, you would have, I don't want to pull this thing through here. You would have this strap on the inside laying here. And then you'd have this strap that you see right here would be on the outside. And then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're going to take this one and go 1, 2 with these ones first, and then 3, 4. And it's just going to make it a tight system and make it as comfortable as possible. So we got that. We got our Velcro. We talked about that. We've got our back support, our lumbar support right here. It's got little Velcro attachments on the side, so we can keep that securely in place once you've set up all your strapping system right there. And this is going to form to your back. It's going to help take up the space of where your back kind of curves in a little bit. So the pack sits nice and flush against you. And when you run, it doesn't want to bounce up as much. Loose packs, you'll be running around. It's like flopping all over the place, especially when you've got it loaded up with 13 pods. That thing is going to want to go all over the place. So the more form-fitting you can make it, the more comfortable it's going to be. All right. So yeah, there we go. I wonder if I can get that through there. I know I can. I just don't know if I want to. There we go. I'm going to pull that through so that we can talk about our tension control. So here is the backside of this pod holder right here. This one, you can undo this piece right here. All right. So this allows, I'm going to take this one off here. So here it is right here. This allows you to control how much grip is going on inside of here. So when your pod slides up into here, depending on, like that, depending on how tight you've made this, is going to control how easy your pod goes in and out. So this thing wraps around the backing of your harness, and it's just going to grip onto that pod. So if you want it to be tighter, you can bring these two pieces of Velcro closer together. You can overlap them more. If you want it to be more loose, you spread them out more so that it doesn't grab as much. But again, you really have to go through and try this out. I would load your pods up with something. If you don't have paint, put some rocks in it or something like that. Whatever it happens to be to simulate a full pod of paint, load up your whole harness or however many pods you like to run out on the field with, and then start adjusting your tensions and seeing how easy it is for you to get your pods in and out, what they do when you start running. Do they fall out? Do they stay in there? What goes on before you get to the field? If you try to do this the day of, you're going to show up and you'll be like, oh, guys, look at this sweet new pack I've got. It's so great, 0G. And then you're going to go out there and you're not going to be able to get your pods out. And then you're going to be in the middle of a game and everybody's going to be shooting you and you can't do anything because your pods are stuck. Or off the break, buzzer sounds, you start running and all your pods fall on the floor. Do it beforehand. Do it at home when you've got the time. You can spend some time with it and get outside and run around. And they're all controllable. As you go through here, you can see that they've all got the same kind of setup on there. I'm going to loosen this one up because I want to put in that lock lid right there. I want to see kind of where I need to be to put this one in. You can see how much bigger that lock lid pod is than this Gen X Global Standard pod. That's in there. I'm kind of going to feel it. If I was trying to pull that out in the middle of a game, it might be a little tough. So I'm going to come back here. And then I'm going to come in a little bit less. Right there. And I'm going to try again. Oh, that goes in much nicer. I could easily get that out while I was playing. Especially on my back, I could reach behind me and just whoop, pull that right out of there, and that would work just fine. So then I would go through and I would kind of set up all my pods the same rough way and then start sliding my pod in there and checking it out. Again, a lot of trial and error. They are not set up for any particular pod right off the gate. So you want to go in and adjust them all. To me, it looks like they're all kind of put pretty tight on there. They're all wrapped pretty much as far over their Velcro as they're going to go. So really the smallest pod. So your 140 rounders or something like that. So Again, spend the time to make it right, and you're going to be rocking a great pack. So again, it does come in 3 sizes. It comes in the 3 plus, the 4 plus, and the 5 plus. It comes in 3 different colors, the red, the blue, and the gray. We've got the brand new 0G 2.0. Pick up yours today from ansgear.com.